What up, Pittsburgh Steel fans? Matty P, Shannon White, back with our Steelers Global Perspective content after a massive draft weekend. I'm back with my mate Shannon. It's changed here. We're getting winter. It's rained all week in Australia. It's dark. It's cold. It's early in my time, but I hope it's a sunny afternoon over there in beautiful West Virginia. How are you doing, my good friend, Mr. Shannon White?
Oh, we're doing great. Now, it's spring here, obviously, but we're in the 80s today. So, I mean, for us, 80s is hot even in the summer. So it's been pretty. I've been out enjoying it. And I said I was looking forward to getting in here and talking some football with my buddy Matty.
Love it. Well, you and I are recording about 15 minutes right now after the Steelers declined Najee Harris's fifth-year option. I did a show earlier on in the week on the channel. I just actually retweeted out as well for people because I won't need to go in as depth necessarily into this one. We got a lot of Steelers Global Perspective content coming out through the weekend that we're about to do. But, I mean, they're declining the fifth-year option. There's a lot of the beat writers already there saying, oh, this means Najee Harris is on a one-year deal. And I'm seeing all these stupid tweets, and it's pissing me off because there's no creativity. In fact, I would argue that not doing the fifth-year option shows the Steelers want to keep Najee even more than if they had accepted the fifth-year option, because you can do an extension. And you look at like what, you know, as I say, I did the show in the week for the listeners that caught that one. But effectively, Najee Harris's option his fifth-year option is $6.97 million. I mean, I've said at different times during the offseason, extend the guy, pay him $5 or $6 million a year plus incentives, put him on a 2-year deal, 3 if you really love him. And that can ride you through the Wilson Fields and possibly another rookie quarterback transition, depending on how that resolves itself. I did this when I was going through it. Josh Jacobs is on about 12 per. There's a few guys that are on more than that. When I saw James Conner on 6 per, I kind of like, and per obviously being per year average, I kind of thought, oh, maybe Najee needs the $6 million plus 1.5, or he needs 6.5 plus 1 to 1.5. Whatever it is, I think you can sign Najee Harris, and however you want to make up the deal, on a 2 or 3 year deal worth an average of between 7 to 8 per year. And that's good. Like with the salary cap going up, you can afford to spend the $7 or $8 million. You'll lock it down. You got Jalen Moore in 1 more year as well next year as the undrafted rookie running back. Then you can think about what you do with a 2-year extension with him. At least the Steelers then don't have to invest a 1 to 3 round pick on running back in next year's draft, and quite possibly the one after, but probably at least next year's draft. At least we can use that to continue building the trenches, which you and I keep talking about. But I've just said a lot there. What are your thoughts on the Najee Harris fifth-year option part? Because I guess I'm not as worried, and it's not all like throw the baby out of the bathwater for me on this. I don't really,
Well, I know that we've had a couple of discussions on our podcast, and you've been kind of against them exercising the fifth-year option.
Yeah.
And I'm like 6.9, whatever it is. I'm like, sign him. And I guess I guess the reason I've been that way is he has been very productive with very little help. I mean, let's be honest. His rookie year might have been the worst offensive line in Steelers' recent, at least, team in his history. He was getting hit in the backfield. That year he led the league by a large margin, picking up, I think it was 2 to 3 yards after first contact. That's crazy. That means he's getting hit because he didn't even average 4 yards a carry. So that means he's getting hit behind the line of scrimmage, and he's dragging people or breaking tackles. So, and he's not complaining. You've never once heard him say, well, if the guys would block a little bit, I would have been like, hey, did you see what I played against today? I mean, as soon as Ben hands me the ball, I'm getting tackled. You know, it was crazy. So I was like, I think he's earned it. But as you said, saying we're not going to pick up the fifth-year option does not mean we don't want you anymore. What it can mean is that we would like to sign you, as you say, 2 to 3 years and give you that job security. You want to be in Pittsburgh, and I think he does.
Yeah.
And look at what we've just done. See, it's one thing to, lip service, and then there's actions. The Steelers can say whatever, but they went out and they've signed 4 top linemen, drafted 4 top linemen, in my opinion, that's going to strengthen their offensive line like it hasn't been in years. And that's showing Najee Harris that they're fully committed to him and to Jaylen Warren and to this offense and to the running game. Where else would Najee Harris want to be than with the team that's putting all them resources into the line that's going to help him be successful?
Yeah.
This first opportunity, in my opinion, will be this year to run behind an above-average line. Because even when he had the success towards the end of Kenny Pickett's rookie year, he's always been better in the second half of the season than the first.
Yeah.
The line starts to gel.
Well, and that year in Kenny Pickett's first year too, he had that injury out of camp with the foot where he had the metal plate in his boot and still played for.
And he played through it, yeah. And that definitely, when they took that metal plate out, he ran better, no doubt. But
I'll tell you, as someone that has orthotics, I'll tell you, and they're not comfortable to run in. I used to not run in my orthotics.
I can't imagine a metal one.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think that's going to be too comfortable. But I'm really happy for Najee, because I think that this is going to be a great opportunity for him this year. And we know how running back contracts are around the NFL right now.
Ah.
And so Najee, the Steelers can make him a fair offer. And I don't see somebody coming in and saying, okay, we're going to give you 10, 11 million a year and taking him away. So I think that the Steelers are trying to be smart and proactive, because like you, I think they would like to have him around a couple more years.
And the irony of all of this, Steelers created $7 million in draft cap before the draft.
Well, you heard why I said they did that. I think they did that because, one, they got other money they could raise easily, free up. But I think they did it because they made an offer, I believe, to Justin Simmons. I think they made an offer when Boyd was in town. And these guys are still out there. But Khan's playing that long game again. He's like, you're going to take our offer, our team-friendly offer, or you're free to go somewhere else. And I think he's playing the waiting game. So if they do decide they're going to take it, it's there.
But my also part is that $7 million goes a long way in terms of front loading with bonuses Najee Harris's contract with a guarantee on this side. If you choose to extend him, right?
Yeah.
You can do that now, because if you sign him at, let's say it's the 14 or if you say it's 12 over 2, but it's more like 14 over 2, you're guaranteeing 50% of the contract for a running back. He'd take that every time, right? Especially because you've got the rest of incentives and bonuses. So your average, let's say it's 10. Let's say it's 10. Oh no, 14. Yeah, let's say 12 of it is salary and $2 million in incentives, and you're guaranteeing 7. You're guaranteeing 60% of the contract, which is actually about roughly what the second echelon of running backs are getting guaranteed right now. So it makes a lot of sense.
If Harris stays in Pittsburgh, so let's say for a little more team-friendly deal, and they extend him, and he has Warren, there, and it's taking a lot of that pounding off him, because we got to remember he was used heavily at Alabama.
Yeah.
And then they rode him hard, put him away wet his first couple years in Pittsburgh before Warren come in the picture. It's going to lengthen his career. I mean, we got to think legacy and longevity. And I think this is the best spot for Harris.
I love it. Well, that's going to wrap up this portion of the Steelers Global Perspective. Stay tuned. We've got more content coming out over the weekend.